right, so we're checking out the only game where you can kill all of your passengers in your plane by slaughtering an infinite amount of birds on purpose. It's X-Plane 11. More bird murder, damn it! X-Plane 11 is a game where you're supposed to fly prudently and safely. That's not gonna happen. I learned that you can find birds in this game, like intentionally, and mow them down with your engines. It can cause damage to your plane, but god damn it, I want to see just how much these planes can take. I feel like the 747 is the obvious choice, but I feel like the birds are going to look a lot bigger when they're hitting like a Cessna. You gotta start small, and so there's nothing like using your prop like a deli slicer on a bunch of seagulls. Oh god, you can change the weather? Wave height. How high does it go? 20-foot waves, Jesus Christ! Oh, there's a wind layer as well. Wind speed, 1 knot. Nope. Not good enough. 200 knots! I don't actually know how many miles per hour 200 knots is, but it sounds like a lot. To Google. Hey Google, how many miles per hour is 200 knots?
200 knots is equivalent to 230.156 miles per hour.
Oh my god! You can fly inside of a tornado? This is amazing! Before we do the birds, I have to try something real quick. Turbulence, yeah, all of it. Oh my god, you can do gust speed increases as well. Another 50 knots never hurt anyone. What is this now, like 280 miles an hour at this point? Here, the wind direction can go this way. And I'll have the wind go this way. All right, I think I've set myself up for success. Let's do this. This little Cessna Skyhawk is like, get your hand away from that start flight button. Enable combat for AI aircraft? What? I mean, sure. Yeah, they're all enemies. In the 270 mile an hour winds. Honestly, you know what? Might as well just add all of them. Okay, I think we're ready to play this game exactly how it was meant to be played.
Hello, passengers, and welcome to hell.
Okay, I need to take a moment to let everyone know that we haven't even taken off. And we're already 500 feet off the ground. Hold on, there's an actual pilot? Who is it? Poor Kyle, he's over here with his headphones on. He's like, my mustache didn't sign up for this. Oh, hold on, you can put on, the AI flies your craft. Clearly, they'll fly this as well as possible. All right, ready? Here we go. Oh my god! So there's part of the plane. Around a third of a mile away is the other part of the plane. Oh, that's nice. One of our wings actually fell in some kid's baseball field. All right, we got it. We're up in the air, so that's better than we did before. Sweet. The AI is doing quite well. Never mind. I mean, maybe if we pick a bigger plane, everything will be okay. Okay, the big plane is definitely taking the wind shear a lot better than the smaller one. I like how this pilot over here is wearing his sunglasses. See, this is true combat training. You're not a good enough pilot unless you can fly in 270 mile an hour winds. I'm not gonna lie though, when it looks like the wings of a 747 are flapping, that's probably a bad thing. Come on, pilot, you better be able to save this. That's a hell of a landing. This pilot over here is like, nailed it. I love how his co-pilot is like 18-year-old Joshua fresh out of high school. Okay, back to the birds. Yeah, let's just do clear weather. I feel like our guy is a lot happier when he's not flying inside of an F5 tornado. Okay, so I found the birds. What the hell is this? This isn't a flock of birds at all. There's no rhyme or reason. It just looks like a bunch of birds inside of a hurricane. You thought I was kidding? What the hell is this? It's like a giant flying tumor of birds. Forget attacking the plane. It looks like the birds are attacking each other. This bird over here is like, you slept with my wife, didn't you, son of a bitch? It actually impresses me just how far you can zoom in on this game. Look at the darkness in this bird's eyes. He has seen things that no bird should see. Alrighty, so yeah, let's see how the plane does. Pretty bad. Oh Christ. All right, this is okay. We can probably land this. I mean, by land it, I mean split into 3 different pieces. What the hell is this made out of, flubber? Jesus Christ, look at it bounce. Look at it. It's like the earth doesn't want to deal with it. It's like, don't touch me. Kyle? Where'd you end up at, dude? I would say he's okay, but the cockpit is convulsing. Don't ask me how or why, but you're allowed to take this Cessna for orbital reentry. We're at 450,000 feet and 15,000 miles an hour. The reentry takes a long time and is an extreme challenge. What is it considered when you're doing it with a Cessna? Understood. All right, we're doing well. We've stalled. We probably stalled because the Cessna isn't made for the vacuum of space. It's getting so dark. Did my character legitimately just pass out from the G-forces? Hold on, I need to restart this flight, but I need to know if you can find birds out in space. You cannot get the birds in space. I've never been so disappointed in all my life. Imagine this, if you will. You're flying your 747, preparing to land on an aircraft carrier, when all of a sudden, Bud Light in hand, you have to deal with a goddamn bird strike. Okay, I'm not sure what just happened, but it sounded like these birds are filled with lead. Okay, we've lost one engine. That's not that bad. Yeah, I got it. Pull up. Will you just let me land this, please? I can totally do this. Shut up. It looks like we're coming in pretty smooth. Look at that. Perfect landing. Just gotta pull back on the throttle a little bit. Hold on, can you actually fly into the aircraft carrier from the water? Damn it, it's a narrow miss because all of our thrust is on one side because the goddamn birds took out this engine. Our boy over here is like, Gray, what the hell are you putting me through? You can change the temperature to -10 degrees Fahrenheit. Look at that. Turn the temperature down a little bit, you can actually get some air. That was probably the worst idea. I don't know, to me that landing felt like a 4 out of 10. On the plus side, all the engines are on fire now, so this one doesn't have to feel alone anymore. Where's my co-pilot at? It's like he rolled down the window and jumped out. He had enough of this. I love that there's an instant replay on this because you get to see the moment of the bird impact in super slow motion. Yep. It's like every bird in the entire planet decided to attack this 747 all at once. It sounded like I got into a goddamn car accident. One of these birds over here is like, I want your insurance information, you bastard. So I have a question. If you set the speed of the wind at like 200 knots with 50 knot gusts, and then you also have birds, will that make the birds fly at your plane that much faster? I feel like if there was a dev watching this, they would be like, why? The question isn't why. The question is why not? Oh, we might as well have the 20-foot waves too, since we're trying to land on a aircraft carrier. Since we're replicating the Florida life, let's make it 125 degrees Fahrenheit. Runway conditions. Wet. All right, you're flying toward your aircraft carrier. You know, there's a little bit of wind. Some of the engines are already going out. I love the fact that there's so much wind that the air streaks are getting pissed off at us. Oh, Jesus, the birds do go faster. You ready? I'll turn it on in a second. You can actually see them real good from here. Here we go. Jesus Christ. All right, once again, we've only lost one engine this time. All right, I went ahead and put the landing gear down. I do appreciate that the wind is actually softening our fall into the water. The worst part about this landing is that I didn't get to use the landing gear. Birds go forward, birds go backward, birds go forward, birds go backward. This one bird over here is actually closest to the emergency exit. Do you know how to operate that, Mr. Bird? All right, yeah. If you notice, most of the birds actually missed the plane, except for the one that managed to get sucked inside of this engine. I love how there's just a bunch of guys over here and they're all like, oh, another boring day on the aircraft carrier. All of a sudden, one of them is like, what the Christ is that? This is what this looks like from the aircraft carrier. Even the helicopter is having trouble in the 200 and whatever mile-an-hour winds. I'm not gonna lie, considering how much was against me, you know, I feel like from a civilian perspective, I flew this. All right, maybe it was pretty bad. Bird strike in a helicopter. Why not? I went through like 10 tutorials before I got bored, but there was one thing that they never showed you. Where do you put your beer at? There's like no cup holders in this thing.
A few seconds later.
So I learned something kind of interesting. If you do a full flip in your helicopter, the blades, they just pop off. I love how it's the same guy that gets tortured in all the scenarios. Now I know why he looks so unhappy. He's like, God damn it, not again. I mean, if you're pointed straight at the ground, the birds come from the ground. Ow. Oh my God, the birds did show up. They're on the ground. I love how the entire scene is just littered with birds. It's like freaking confetti. You can also tell what the priorities are in a game when the birds have more textures than the trees. All right, we're doing this from the beginning. That was a bad idea. All right, there we go. Nice, smooth ascent. I wanted to tilt the blades forward a little bit. Maybe I can just cut a swath through all the birds. Oh, God. Okay, starting to lose control. At first, I didn't think the birds really did anything, but now it kind of feels like maybe they did. I probably should have gotten a little bit more altitude before I tried this. What a recovery. All right, we got 2 full spins in before imminent death and a nice smooth landing. Perfect. Okay, now that I can actually fly this thing without dying immediately, it's time to turn on the wind real quick. Okay, it's just like my instructor always taught me. If you can fly a helicopter inside of a tornado, you can fly a helicopter in Florida. When I press the unpause button, incredible amounts of sadness. Whoa, my God. I'm pretty sure I lost the blades immediately. Hold on. Yeah, you see right here with the instant replay, you get to see the very moment when I screwed up. I like how the blades didn't get slowed down or anything. They just gave up the will to live. They're like 250 knot winds. F this. When did they leave? Because it looks like they're still on. You know, when you view it like this, it's actually very acrobatic. It's like watching a beautiful ballet. I think my favorite part is that no matter what happens, this guy always has the exact same expression on his face. He's like, you know what, Gray? I'm kind of wishing they had that beer koozie holder in here now. And you know what? We landed it right on the front there. So that wasn't as bad as it could have been. This thing goes off in the distance. It's gonna end up killing some shrimp fisherman or something. I think it's fitting that part of the helicopter landed in some 8-year-old's bedroom. He slowly starts to reconsider his future as he takes down all of the plane and helicopter posters he has on his walls. This is something I've always wanted to do, which is fly an ultralight with like a weed whacker engine in the middle of a gigantic thunderstorm. I really appreciate that the one flying this is Florida girl. She's got her lipstick on and everything. She's like, just another day in Hurricane Satan. I mean, we all knew this had to happen. It's the birds. The birds are half the size of the goddamn ultralight. I like how this craft is so small and yet somehow like one bird managed to hit the prop. I'm totally gonna land this. I've let the birds get the best of me this whole episode, but this time I'm gonna carburetor ice suspected. Oh, shit. Okay, now things are getting a little bit worse. All right, I'm gonna go for a nice soft landing in those mountains over there. Is there blood on the cockpit? On the glass of the HUD? Is that the bird's blood or is that my blood? All right, let's go ahead and back off the throttle here. Bring those flaps down a little bit. Gonna end up parking this thing in like a Yugoslavian tavern. All right, I didn't expect that. For some reason, our ultralight just spontaneously exploded. But hey, I landed it right on the road. Florida girl went through all that and the only injury she got was a broken neck. I mean, and the flight stick is partly up her anus now. Hey, sir in the sedan, can you help a brother out? I can't feel my legs. Thank you. Asshole. I mean, I can put the ultralight in the wind, but I think we both know what's gonna happen. You know what? If she's gonna end up vomiting up her kidneys from the airspeed, I might as well give her a nice temperature here, 72 degrees. I mean, to be fair, it probably lasted as long as the Cessna. You can get a bird strike from down here. What the hell? These birds are like, you killed our people. We'll follow you to the ends of the earth, you bastard. Look at them. They can't even fly in the wind because it's so fast. They're just chilling out around this ultralight. Well, I'm gonna watch as this bird gets intimate with Florida girl. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode of X-Plane 11. Until the next time, stay foxy and much love.